What up, G Life fans? Your boy MC Shadow coming at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, check out the playlist, all that good stuff. Now, what I wanted to talk about today is about something that I've been getting asked for. You know, this question. This subject right here is a little bit complicated. You know what I mean? It's a very complicated subject. So I'm gonna try to do my best to explain this one because this one is, it's kind of sticky. Now, dating the enemy, meaning, because I made a video where I talk about, when you have could you have peace with your enemies? And then I talk about, when you have siblings that date your enemies or anything like that, and relationships and all that. But now we're talking about what happens when you're actually from those hoods and you're dating an enemy. Now, dating the enemy, does it happen? Yes, it does. You know what I mean? Now, how do us homeboys view it? It really depends on the homeboy and the homeboy that's doing it. That's basically what it comes down to. Me, personally, I never liked it. I never did it. I would never do it. I never would kick it with none of my enemies. You know what I mean? Meaning females or anything of that nature. I don't give a damn about anything. You know what I mean? That doesn't fly because I feel we know who our enemies are. We know what we're loyal to and devoted to, and doing that, in my personal opinion, this is just my personal opinion, I see it as spitting on my hood. You feel me? I'm not saying that that's actually what it is. I'm saying that that's how I feel and I see it. But I have some of my homies that have done it or or did it or whatever. That depends on the homie. Depends how much work he's put in. Depends if he's respected and all of that. You feel me? I mean, if you're a homie that doesn't put in the work and then you do that, I mean, my boy, you're on the shit list. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And even when you're a solid homeboy and you do it, it creates a ripple. The hood is talking about it. We're like, hey, homie, this was dating the enemy. But it creates arguments. It creates all kinds of shit, homie. Basically, it's gonna create drama. No way around it. No ifs, no buts about it. It's gonna be drama, homie. You know what I mean? Not drama that will stain your name like forever, nothing like that. Like eventually, like I said, if you're a solid homie, you put in work and everything. If anything, if you're kind of that situation, you're gonna have to kind of put in that extra now to convince homies otherwise. You know what I mean? You gotta understand it from our point of view. If you're dating the enemy, we're looking at it as in she's gonna tell people from our neighborhood, or if it's a guy, tell the, what we kicking it at, our activities, give them heads up, all of that. Now it creates a ripple in the trust. Can we even trust homie to tell him anything and all kinds of shit? You know what I mean? It creates a dysfunction. There's a break in the trust already right there. You get me? But like I said, homies, if a homie's solid or whatever, eventually homies will get over it. If it's a solid homie, they'll just learn to accept it, because they win the trust back. Okay, well, all right, seems like homie, keeps the hood and the relationship thing separately. You feel me? But yeah, he's kind of pushed to the sidelines more and more. You get what I mean? Just because we see it, if it's it's disloyal, even though it's not. I'm not saying that they don't like the hood, or they turned it back on the hood, or they're disrespecting the hood. You know what I mean? It's just it's fun. I get it when somebody falls in love with somebody, you can't control that and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? I understand. You know what I mean? That's why it's not seen because we could understand that he could love the hood and he could love the girl and keep them separate. You know what I mean? But some homies just don't see it that way. They see it well, how do we know for sure? And then how do we say that we know for sure? We can't. That's what creates the ripple and the the dysfunction. I would never do it just because I see it that's what it is, in my personal opinion. Because you have to keep it in mind, even if they're females or not, homie, they're treacherous. There's females out there that are more gangster than homies. There's females out there that have smoke bottles. There's hyenas that are fucking gangsterful. They'll dump out they'll do everything as much as a vato would do it. You feel me? So you can't just take it just because they're females. You're gonna take them lightly. You know what I mean? You get set up. A whole lot of things that happen. And believe it or not, a lot of homies have gotten set up by females. You know, from all kinds of hoods. You know, they're treacherous. So that's why it creates like the dysfunction. And why, you know, I made a video talking about females from hoods and everything. Why most homies choose not to have females and all of that. You get me? But there is gangster ass ones and shit like that happens. You know what I mean? So don't take it just because they're female. It means nothing. Now it's like kind of like saying like, what happens when you catch like a female gangster girl from the rival side? Now see, with that, it's kind of like more. It's like they're not to us. They're not as important as vatos. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's just that female. You know what I mean? But if the female's talking shit, if the female's crossing you out, if you roll up and the enemies are posted and that female's right there from their hood posted with them, they're gonna suffer the same repercussions as the males are. I get it. People are like, oh, don't hit women, don't hit. Yeah, my boy, this is the streets. Understand that. That is not a female. That is a rival enemy. Meaning she will take your life. She will try to come at you. She will try to do everything that a man is going to try to do to you. Meaning take your life. You know what I mean? That's not a female. A female is just like a regular hyena that just be, you know, doing her thing. This is an enemy. Point blank. Don't think that they're going to show you any mercy or anything like that. They're not going to show you nothing. Nothing but steel. You know? Since, you know, majority of the time they tend to, you know, hold the steel in case the Huda rolls up. And they'll let you have it. So they suffer the same consequences that a male does. You want to be talking like a gangster guy, you want to be out there banging like a gangster guy, you want to be out there doing what gangster guys do, then you're going to suffer the same repercussions that a male gangster will suffer. You know, and people can't even be like, oh, well, that's a female, then why is she choosing to bang then? If that's the case. They ain't going to be able to hang like that. You know? Believe it or not, there's female guys that knock out homies. I seen it. I seen them knock out vatos. I seen them get jumped in by vatos. Hey, they could hold their own. Don't let the TV shows fool you and everything. Those are regular broads that just, you know, never had a fight in their life, and they're just, you know, they're civilians. They're just doing their thing. You know, these are broads that come from. They be jacking vatos, slapping them around. Man, they do gangster shit. You understand? They're like a man. You know what I mean? And so, you know, they suffer the same repercussions. So, like I said, that's why when they're dating, you know, like that, it's kind of like we don't see it like he's dating like a broad or nothing. We see him like him mingling with the opposition, with the enemies. That's how we view it. We don't see it like, okay, he found himself a hyena. You know what I mean? And in my book, I'm just saying that I just wouldn't have it because I would see it like that's disrespecting my neighborhood. But that's just how I view it. I'm not saying that that's actually what is going on. I'm just saying that that's how I view it. Never have done it, never would do it, none of that. That's on everything. I mean, you know, loyal to the soil, baby. You already know. But yeah, that's it does create a dysfunction for a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that homies become no good or nothing like that. Like, you know, it depends on the homie. If the homie's well respected, like I said, you know, homies eventually get over it. But it did create like a small dysfunction for a bit. You know what I mean? Because nobody's just gonna be cool with you. Just like, oh yeah, this was dating them, and like, oh, all right, cool. It's not. It's gonna be raising eyebrows. You know what I mean? And depending which rivals, because, you know, you can have rivals, but there's some rivals that are more rivals than others. You know what I mean? You can have all kinds of enemigos, but there's some that are more enemigos than the others. You know what I mean? That also depends on where the enemy is coming from. If it's from like your, because look, you know, like my neighborhood has like, we beef it with like, I don't know, like 30 different gangs or 40 different gangs. You know, my barrio beefs with like 40 different gangs. But there's like three of them that are on the top of the list, homie. That they're the top of the food chain, homie. That's major beef. The rest is beef. This is like filet mignon. You know what I mean? This is some heavy duty. You know, there's some pot roast right here. So there is a difference, you know, from where the enemy also is coming from. You know what I mean? If it's coming from the brutal enemy, I mean, fuck, that's gonna create some, maybe a calentada, maybe I don't know, but something's gonna be happening. You know what I mean? Something's gonna be happening. Homies are just not gonna just turn the other cheek. You know what I mean? But it's gonna create a ripple. I'm not saying that the homie stain has a stain on his name or nothing like that. Nah, but for a while there will be like a small disagreements and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Until we could see that he's not breaking the trust. All right, you know what I mean? But that's just my opinion on it. I know like it was kind of hard to explain it because it's a very complex subject. But I have had homies from my hood do it, and it has happened. Some in good standing, some's just like they just didn't want to put up with it, and we never seen them ever again. And that's on them. Just hope that when you do see them in the future, they don't think they're gonna be like, "Hey, hello, how you doing? It's been a long time." It's gonna be the opposite. But it is what it is. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Go ahead, leave it in the comments. And shout out, we out.